Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to Solve It Out. This is Annie here, and today I'm going to build a calendar event project. Here you can see a calendar, and you can add up your events accordingly to the date and the year and the month you want to add up. So, in this project, I'll show you a quick demo at first, and then I'm going to discuss the libraries and the tech stack. At first, you can see that there is no events present here, and we have the calendar. This yellowish grid is the current date that I'm recording the video. Now we can go back to our previous months or the upcoming months, and we can add up any event according to the dates. So here, let me add a date on 3rd September. On clicking the grid, there will be a modal coming where you can add your event. Just solve it out here. On clicking add, you can see our event is added up here on the desired date that I have set. Now I can drag and change my date accordingly. So instead of 3rd, I want to move the date to 10. Now you can see immediately the date here got changed up. Also, I can move it to 20. This got changed up immediately. Now, if we move to the week and check here, you can see as we have moved up the date here, this one has come here. Now, we can change it and from here also actually the date. So, if I want to move from 20 to 16, I can move, and you can see our event got changed up here, and also it's reflected equally in the month. Now I can add up, like for a specific date, I can add up the time here as it is given. So I want to add it up at 5 p.m. Now it can be easily dragged, and the date can be added, also the time. Next we will go to the day tab. Can you see the event here for the particular date? Now I can move to, like, maybe at the top. So from here also we can equally change the time from any tab. You can change your time, you can extend your time, and you can update by simply doing drag and drop. Also, you can add multiple events in a single day. Like here for 16th only, I want to add new event, and this got immediately add up here. This particular event I can move to any place, and you can see the immediate date change. Also, I can delete a particular event. Like if I click on this, you will get a modal to delete it, and click OK, and our event is removed. Also, one thing to add up is that if I refresh the page, the event is still here. So this is happening because we are storing our event in the local storage. This is our whole project. Hope you guys are quite excited to implement this and build your own calendar event. Now, before starting our code, I want to discuss some of the libraries and tech stack that I have used. Now, the main tech stack that I'm working is on Next.js 14, where we are going to implement this whole calendar. And next, for the calendar component, I am using FullCalendar.io component. Here, for the it can be implemented with React. You can find numerous docs and demos given here. I have chosen a certain like few of them to showcase to you all. You can definitely go through and explore by yourselves here. So we'll implement this FullCalendar.io for our project, and also for the different UI components. I have used ShadCN UI, which is a very good library for implementing quick components using Tailwind CSS. So this is the best, can be applied with React as well as Next.js. So we are going to use this one for our modal component that will be helping us to save a lot of time, also to look a beautiful UI will give. So these two are the main major components that we are going to use. And of course, Next.js is there to implement those. Now, let's jump on to the code. So I have already installed Next.js code in here. As you can see in the package.json, the next version here is 14. And along with that, TypeScript and Tailwind CSS is also installed. I have changed a few things in the code, like I have removed the initial code and have imported the calendar component here. Inside, I have created a components folder, and this is our calendar component. So it's just the basic code that I have changed. Now, if I do npm run dev here, you can see just the calendar component is running and only the calendar word is going at localhost 3000. Now, first we are going to add our library. So here we'll go to the full calendar and we are going to copy this install method. I'm stopping the server currently. We'll first npm install the calendar or React grid. Along with that, also going to install the time grid and the interaction libraries from the full calendar. So all our installation from full calendar is done. Now equally I'm going to install the ShadCN. Now to install ShadCN, we'll first have to go to the docs of the Next.js, and here let's select this first line for npm. We're doing npx ShadCN at latest init, and you can follow the rest of the methods like yes, proceed. You can see it's asking to choose a style, so I'll choose the default, the neutral. So our ShadCN is installed. I'll show you what are the changes that have occurred. Here you can see inside the lib folder has been created where the utils.ts is added here for the ShadCN, and the component.json has been created for the ShadCN, and then I'm going to add specific components. Like in ShadCN, if you want to add a specific component, you have to install it and then you can use it multiple times. So, as I'm going to use a specific component that is dialog, I'm going to show you how to like use this dialog box. Now you can see the preview at first, that is edit profile. If I click, you can see the dialog is appearing. Now this is the installation process. So first we'll copy this and install our dialog at first. As we have installed the dialog, you can see inside the components folder, a UI folder is created automatically, and you can see the dialog component is present now in our code. This is the already built-in component. Now we need to just call it and utilize it inside our code structure. So we'll implement this. Let's first start with the calendar component. At first, I want to import. So here I'm using use client because this will be a client component. The use state and use effect will be hooks will be present. Now I have imported form date, this one from full calendar core, and full calendar from React. This all we have already installed previously, and this is the dialog component that I have imported. Now as I'll move on in the code, we'll explain you why we are importing this. Next, we'll quickly add some of the use state variables. Here you can see I have taken the current events, the dialog open, the new event title, and selected date. This four state we are going to need to control our events. Next, I want to create a date pick handler. Now, this handle date click will actually select a event, that is when we are clicking on a specific date, it will select that date and it will set the dialog open. That is, for that specific date, our dialog box will get open. Next, I want to add a handler where we can add our event. So here I have described a handle add event with a const, and here we will be taking an event. The type will be react.form event, and at first I'm doing prevent default so that it doesn't refresh. After this, I'm going to check that if there is new event title and selected date, like we have the title and the date, then get the calendar API instance and immediately unselect the range. That is because when we are selecting the specific calendar date and the title, our select should be removed immediately, so that if we change the date, that time a new select should get added. Next, I'm going to create our new event, that if a event is created, what it should contain. This will be an object where we are going to have our unique ID. Next, the title, start date, the end date, and can also select all day, that whether the event will run all the day. So our new event object is created. Now we are going to add up in our calendar. Now this error is coming because I have ended the if bracket here only. This whole thing will be inside the if condition, that when the event title and selected date is there, then only a new event and add event can happen. We will move ending tag and we'll add it up. After adding the event, I'm calling the handle close dialog. This function will write, that is when the dialog box will close. So our add handle event is completed, where we are adding a new event. Next, the handle close dialog. In handle close dialog, we are going to set our dialog box as false and will reset our title, event title, as empty one. Now, we'll add another event click, where on clicking a particular event, we can delete event that we have chosen. So to do that, I'm going to add another handle event click, where I'm using window.confirm. This is our JavaScript core function .confirm, where a prompt or a window will appear to you, and we are going to pass the message that where you're sure to delete the event, and this will be our event title, and then we'll just remove that event. All our current functions have been added: the handle date click, handle close dialog, handle event click, and handle add event. So our functions are added. Now let's move on to our CSS code and calendar implementation. To start with our CSS code, the class name like displayFlex with full, padding of 10, justify start, item start, and a gap of 8. Now we are going to have two divs, as this is a flex. One will be the events and another will be the calendar. So inside the event section, we'll have our heading. Here, the width will be 3 by 12. Next, we'll have our calendar event heading, where the padding is 10, text to Excel, and a font weight of extra bold. Next, I'm going to add the unordered list, because our events will be in the form of list. So if we find here that current event.length is less than equal to 0, then we'll show no events present. Here the class name will have italic font, text center, and a color of gray. Next to this is that if the current events.length is greater than 0, then we need to map out our current events. Here the type will be of event API. Inside it, we will be having our list. This is our list where this is our CSS, border gray 200, shadow, and padding with border radius and the text color. Inside the list, we are going to define the title and our start date. First, I write event.title with a break option. Next, I'm going to take a label of form date. Here you can see after event title, this is our start date label where I am using the form date. Form date is so the format date here is imported from FullCalendar/React. Now here inside form date, we are starting with event.start and then the year defined as numeric, month as short and day also as numeric. Also, you can add up here event.end if you stretch between the days, but here I only have added event.start. Next, our div is added and here we'll add our full calendar component. Also, I'll add a margin top of 8. This full calendar component is imported from FullCalendar/React. Inside this, I'm going to add up different parameters or pass different arguments. First, I'll add the height. Height will be of 85 view height according to the screen. And next, I'm going to add up the plugins. Now, these are the plugins that we need for our calendar component, the day grid plugin, time grid plugin, and interaction plugin. All these plugin we have imported at the first. Next, we are going to add up our headers like the next, the month, the day, grid. Those we are going to add it up. Now, as a header, the left will have the previous, next, and the today. In the center, there will be the title, and in the right, there will be day grid month, the time grid week, time grid day, and we'll not need the least week here. Next, going to add initial view as the day grid month. You can choose any other like the time grid week or the time grid day as your initial view, but to me, it is day grid month. I want my events to be editable, so it's true. Next, the selectable must be true so that the dates we pick must get selected. We'll add select mirror as true and also day max events true. Next will be the selected will have handle date click. Handle date click function, we have already defined it earlier where our set selected date and set dialog box we have set to true. Next is the event click, which will assign with the handle event click. Handle event click we have previously defined when we want to remove an event. Next is our event set. That is, whenever there will be change in events, we will pass our events in set current events. As initial events, I want to get the event from the local storage. I want to store it in local storage because on refresh, I don't want my events to disappear. It should remain intact in the calendar. So I stored it up in local storage, and here is a little check on that, that if it is undefined, then it should show the empty array, else it will parse the JSON. So our calendar component is completed. Next, I'll quickly add two use effects to fetch our local storage, that is getting the local storage events and setting the events. So our first use effect will be for getting the event. If the type of window is not undefined, then we are calling the local storage using .getItem, the events, and we are setting it up inside set current events. Next use effect will be the setting events. If the type of window is not equal to undefined, then we are going to set the event in the local storage. And in the dependency array, current events is present because whenever there will be a change in event, it should get stored. Now our use effects are completed. Next, to add the dialog box, we'll first add a fragment here. At first, there is the dialog tag from ShadCN, where in the open we're assigning the isDialogOpen, and on open change we're assigning the setDialogOpen. These two states we have already predefined earlier in our use state. Next tag is the dialog content, where inside the dialog content there will be dialog header and there will be dialog title, where add new event details header will be present. Next, we are going to add a form here, where in this form component there is a class name and the on submit function. We'll assign the handle add event function here, which we have previously written down. Here is the whole function. Now, inside the form event, there will be an input field. The input field will have a type of text, a placeholder, a value as event title. On change function, it will change the event title according to the target value that is required, and it has a basic class name like borders, border radius, and a font size. Next, we'll add the button up here, and this will be a type of submit button with some backgrounds, text colors, margin, padding, and border radius. So our calendar component is completed as of now. Now we can save and check how it is working. Our calendar events is working fine here. As you can see, there right now there is no event present. And let me click on any of the grids. This is the current date. And if I click on any grid, it should show the dialog box. This is the dialog box that I created with ShadCN. We'll add up an event here that is creating new video. On adding, you can see on September 2, the event is added up here. Now, if I want to move up and bring to 12, you see immediate change of the date has occurred. Now, if I drag to 4th, here is the change. Let's move to the week part. You can see the day here, event setup. We can move the event to any time of the day. This time I choose up, and if you move to the day tab and go there, you can find the same time have been also updated in the tab. I can also change it from here, and it will get reflected exactly in the week. Also, you can find this in the month tab. Let me add another event on the same date. Here, let's add new event. On adding, you can see the same date has been added. Also can move it up to different date. And then if I on click on the event, the prompt will show, are you sure to delete it? On clicking OK, the event is removed. On this note, today's project comes to an end. Hope you guys have liked the project. Do comment down below, and the GitHub link for this project will be present there in the description section. Till then, this is Annie signing off. Let's meet in another new and interesting project.